Hello. Today we start with the bitwise operator. The bitwise operator are used for the manipulation of data in a bit level. As you store the information in a 0 and 1 format. When you compile your programming language, it is converted to the 0 and 1 format. That is stored in a byte format. So when you want to manipulate the data in a bit level, we are using this bitwise operator. The operand can be of various type. It may be a integer, it may be a short, it may be a long, it may be a byte data type. Okay, so in the bitwise or data type, we are using not operator, or operator, XOR operator, and operator. Bitwise and operator. In and operator, if operand 1 and 2, if both are 0, it return you 0. If it is 0, then 1, it is return you 0. Okay. If it is 1, then 0, it is return you 0. 1 and 1, it is return you 1. Means false, false, it is return you false. 0 means false. 1 means true. True, false, then false. True, true, then return you true. It is in the case of AND operator. If you take an example, the 0, 0 is 0, 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 1 and 1 is 1, 0 and 1 is 1. So when you mention 2 and 3 operator, it return you 2. Okay. That is a bit explanation of 2, and it is a bit explanation of 3. In bit format, if you represent, it is showing you double 1, and it is the 1 0. Okay. The 2 and 3 operator, as a resultant, the result that you are getting, it is same to the 2. So 2 and 3 operator, it gives you 2. Bitwise or operator, it perform the or operation on the 2 operand. Okay. So here what happened, if you are using 0 0, it return you 0, 0 1 1, it is return you 1, 1 and 0 is return you 1, 1 and 1, it is return you 1. Means false, false, return you false, false, true, return you true, true, false, return you true, 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 return you true. So in the case of OR operator, if any one condition is false, then it is return you false. In the case of um, in the case of OR operator, if any one condition is false, then it is return you true. If both the condition are false, then it is return you false. Okay, so here false, false, return you false, false, true, return you true, true, false, return you true, 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 return you true. So if any one condition is true, it return you true in the case of OR operator. But in the case of AND operator, if any one condition is false, it return you false. So in the case of AND operator, you have to ensure that your both statement return the true value. Then now come to the 2 or 3. If you compare, that is return you 3 value. Okay, 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0. Okay, it is a what bit operation of 2. It is a bit operation of 3. Okay, then 1 and 1 is 1. 0 and 1 is 1. So that return you double 1. So double 1 means it is return you 3 value. Then comes to that bitwise not operator. That is a unary operator. It is used to perform the not operation on each bit of a binary number. It is also called as the bitwise complement. So if you pass here 0, 0, 1. If it is 0, then 1. Means if it is false, then it is return you true. If it is true, then it is return you false. It is a vice versa thing. Very good. Now taken see this example. So here we are using if it is 0, then it is return you 1. If it is 0, return you 1. If it is 0, return you 1. Okay, if it is 0, then return you 1. If it is 1, then it is return you 0. If it is 0, then return you 1. The not of 2 operator, it gives you the result that is minus 3. That is the what bit representation of minus 3. Then XOR operator. It perform the XOR operation on the 2 operand. It result in 1 if exactly 1 bit is 1, or else 0 in all the cases. Means 0 0 is 0, 0 1 is 1. If exactly 1 bit is 1, it is return you 1. 0 1 is 1, 1 0 it return you 1, 1 and 1 is return you 0. That is the what work of XOR operator. The 0 0 0 0 0 0, 1 and 1 is 0, 0 and 1 is 1. Okay, so 2 XOR operator 3 to return you 1. Then comes to the right shift and left shift operator. Display in part 3. The right shift operator perform an arithmetic operation or sign of right shift. The result of the shift is that the first operand is divided by 2 raised to the number of times specified in the second operand. So when you write 256 right shift operator 4, that means 256 divided by 2 to the power 4. So that 4 is now become to the power of 2, and it is divide the number that you have specified here. 256 divided by 2 to the power 4 it return you 60. And here minus 256 right shift operator 4 it return you minus 60. 128 right shift operator 1, that means 128 divided by 2 return you 64. In left shift operator, it perform the left shift, that the result of the shift is that the first operand is multiplied by the 2 raised to the number specified by the second operand. If you write 128 left shift operator 1, that means 128 into 2 to the power 1. So 128 into 2, that is 256. Then 16 left shift operator 2, that means 16 into 2 to the power 2. 16 into 2 to the power 2 is what? 4. So 16 into 4, it gives you 64. That is the work of your right shift and left shift operator. Then I move to ternary operator. Ternary operator is used to evaluate an expression. The work on regular expression on the two operand. It means it will go for checking a condition, boolean, then expression. It means what? If your condition is true, then it return expression 1. If your condition is false, then it return expression 2. So that is called your ternary operator. First, it is check the condition. If your condition is true, they return expression 1. If your condition is false, then it is return expression 2. So let's take an example. So we're defining a double number minus 5.5 string result. The result equals to, if number is greater than 0.0, then it is showing you positive. If your number is greater than 0.0, then it is showing you positive. If your number is not greater than 0.0, it is showing you negative. So here we are passing minus 5.5, which is not greater than 0.0. So it is showing you it is not positive. So here it is showing you minus 5.5 is not a positive number. The condition that we are given here, it is not greater than 0. So it is showing you it is not a positive number. Next, we start with how to creating a package. Then next we start with how to creating a package. For creating a package, you have to open the NetBean IDE, then go to here, file, new project, then Java application. Next, then here we give the application name. Application name is suppose I have defined here my Java, yeah, my Java pack. So if you notice here it is contained a two part. Here first part contain the package name or a folder name. Second part is your class name. Okay, the two dot symbol is present. First part is your package name, means folder name. Second part is your class name. Here I have mentioned p1 dot first. So p1 is a folder name, first is a class name. You can see that your application has created, and if you notice here in the source package, already a package is created p1 and class is present first. So in that first class, I am defining a function. Suppose public void display function, which is showing you system dot out dot this is your first class. Similar way for creating another package. So right click on the source package, new, then Java package. For the modularization program, we have to create a package. Then package name here I can give here. I will give P2 is the package name. The package is created. Now you have to add a class. So right click on the package, new, then Java class. So here you give us second. Okay. So in the first class we are defining a display function. In the second class, we have to define show function. This is second class. Now I call this two class into another class. Okay, these are the modularization we created. Like we create a first class in different location, second class in the different location. So my work is over. Then I have to call all the classes into one module. Okay, for that I'm creating another package, Java package P3. So in the P3 package, I will call the class first class and second class. So how you can perform? Right click on the P3 new, in Java class. Here I am mentioned as R. In this class, I will call the first class and second class. For calling the classes, you need to create an object. Where the object is created in the main method, you have to create an object. So here I define a main method, public void main. The main method we are creating a object of class. Suppose here I define first I equals to, so when I create an object first I equals to new first, it shows an error because it is not found the class first. So that we are using import statement. import p1 dot, yeah, if you write p1 dot fast, then there is no error. Import p2 second. Okay, so where for calling the other classes into another package. So if you want to call the classes, they are present in other package. So for calling that classes, we have to use the import statement. Import p1 dot fast, import p2 dot second. Now by creating a object of another class second, j equals to new second. Now through this object we are calling a function I dot display function j dot. So now I run the file heart.java. So it is switch the output. It will take some time. See there. Here it is showing you the result. This is a fast class and this is a second class. Okay. So all the fast class, it is this packaging program. It is helping you to create a modularization program. So you develop the program in your location, in your package. So like in the P1, I'm defining fast.java. In P2, I'm defining second.java. Now in another package, I have the requirement of this two type of class. So I have to call here. Okay, so for calling the class which is present in the different package, so you have to import the package statement. Import p1.fast, import p2.second. Then fast I equals to new fast, we are creating a object of class. Second j equals to new second. So this object we are calling display function and show function. When you are calling, then it is showing you this is fast class and this is second class. Okay. Hope you understand this packaging program. In the next class, we go for the conditional construct and as well as the looping construct. Thank you.